Exclusive contracted novel by Feilu Novel Network. Special Forces. Opening Fusion Blind Monk Li Qing. Internet-addicted teenager Jiang Chen travels to the world of special forces and awakens the hero fusion system. Fusion Blind Monk, obtain Grandmaster level combat, with one punch flipping He Chenguang. Integrate Picheng female police officers to obtain divine level sniper, and wherever bullets reach, Jiang Chen is the rule. Fusion of Swift Scout, obtaining perfect disguise that even military dogs passing by cannot detect. Integrating Nico, Bomberman, Orne, AsoHe Chenguang said, "Don't mention me, the fighting champion. Compared to Brother Chen, I am just a ***. Fan Tiankeng said, "The army has captured me. Are you a new recruit?" Ran said, "Brother Jiang Chen, let sister see if you are as powerful as the legend suggests." Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 001. The system late for 18 years, new book seeks. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Jinfu, go ahead. Do Stone Man have any tricks? Get ready to start a team. Wait for me 5 seconds, Father Stone will teach them how to be human. Across from the main entrance of the National University of Defense Science and Technology in Binhai City, Dongchuan Province. A private room in an internet cafe decorated with a competitive atmosphere. 5 teenagers, aged 17 or 18, sat in a neat row, manipulating their respective roles while shouting loudly. Kakaka, Dada in the middle position, a pair of agile hands are flying and controlling the keyboard and mouse, with rhythmic tapping sounds like a cheerful movement. On the computer screen, the blind monk suddenly rushed into the crowd with the help of the second cue segment. Touch your eyes and adjust your position. 1 library. The deep sound effects and golden light echoed almost simultaneously. Our flash. The powerful power of the divine dragon burst out from the blind monk's right foot, kicking all 5 enemy soldiers into mid-air. Painful, Kai painful. The distant swordsman of the fast wind immediately transformed into the fast wind, flashing beside the 5 people, lifting them into mid-air and causing damage again. Crash it. The stone man in the river collided unstoppably. 3 full players, combined with the output of the other 2, had no counterattack power and were easily defeated by the team. GG. Blind people are a little generation, right? In the public channel, someone from the opposite side praised it, and then the camera of several people uncontrollably pulled towards the other person's crystal. Boom. At the moment when the opponent's base exploded, the sound effect of "victory" came from the headphones. Who? Jiang Chen, sitting among the 5, took off his headphones and let out a long breath. 1 god leads 4 pitfalls, it's not that difficult. Fortunately, after a morning of hard work, everyone collectively broke away from the most eerie bronze section and entered the silver section with a better environment. Comfortably stretching lazily, Jiang Chen grabbed the cola placed above the mouse and took a hard sip. Later, he crossed his fingers and moved his knuckles, saying fiercely, "Keep going. Whatever you say today, you have to be promoted to Silver 3. Yo, your ambition is not small." Just then, an disharmonious voice came from the door of the private room. Jiang Chen's movement stiffened, and his expression immediately became helpless. The other 4 teenagers turned their heads together and looked in the direction of the sound. I saw a man with short hair, dressed in military uniform and regular attire, full of aura, with a pair of dark big eyes and an angry beauty, walking steadily towards Jiang Chen sitting in the middle. "Say, how many times have I caught you in an internet cafe?" The beautiful woman walked behind Jiang Chen and without hesitation grabbed his ear. "Anren, please be gentle, it hurts." Jiang Chen stood up with the help of the beautiful woman and reluctantly defended, "It's normal for college students to go online on weekends, isn't it? This person's name is Enron. His neighbor's child is 3 years older than Jiang Chen. The two grew up together since childhood, and their relationship is quite good. Since Enron joined the army, Jiang Chen's happy life has changed its flavor. Every time Enron comes back from vacation, he will uncover Jiang Chen who is stuck in the internet cafe. And every time, he would hate Jiang Chen's education, which is not as strong as steel. I thought that once I went to college, these days would come to an end. I didn't expect that just a few days after being happy, Enron came over again. It's normal for me to urge you to make progress in your studies. Enron held her head high, her big eyes fixed on Jiang Chen without blinking, full of confidence. Seeing that Enron had no intention of giving in, Jiang Chen's thoughts turned and quickly cut open the topic. Sister Enron, it's not time for vacation yet, is it? Are you here for something? Go out and talk. Enron glanced left and then released his right hand, which was gripping Jiang Chen's ear, and turned to walk towards the door. You guys play a big fight first, and I'll continue to score when I come back. After giving instructions to his 4 friends, Jiang Chen followed in Enron's footsteps, walked out of the noisy internet cafe, and arrived at the relatively quiet street. Enron, you didn't run out of the military district specifically to catch me surfing the internet, did you? Jiang Chen joked as they walked side by side on the street. Hee hee. Enron tilted his head and gave Jiang Chen a big white eye. I won't waste my precious vacation for you. After a disdainful remark, Enron finally explained, I'm here to recruit soldiers from your school. Recruiting soldiers. Jiang Chen's expression froze for a moment. Before he could speak, a mechanical electronic sound suddenly echoed through his mind. Ding. The system activation conditions have been met. The activation program is loading. The activation program has been loaded. After the host enters the military camp and becomes a new recruit, the system is officially activated and a newbie gift package is distributed. System. Jiang Chen's eyes widened slightly. It's been 18 years. After waiting for 18 years, the golden finger finally appeared. This dog thing makes me wait so hard. However, according to the system's meaning, one must enter the military camp to officially activate it. If you play games all day and don't study hard, why don't you come with me to the army to experience it? At this moment, the voice of Enron's hatred for iron not turning into steel happened to come. After some thought, Jiang Chen looked at the other person with a smile and said, Enron, I think your proposal is very good. I heard that there are many preferential policies for college students to enlist, which can not only increase credits but also exempt tuition fees. Is that true? Enron looked at Jiang Chen in surprise and said, do you really want to join the army? Is that still fake? Isn't it said that I regret being in the military for 3 years and not being in the military for a lifetime? I don't want to regret it for a lifetime. Jiang Chen's expression was very serious. The reason why he suddenly decided to join the military was, on the one hand, to activate the system, and on the other hand, because of Enron. At Special 3rd Middle School, Enron died on his first mission. Nowadays, as a childhood sweetheart of Enron, I naturally want to try my best to avoid this from happening. Seeing that Jiang Chen's expression didn't seem like he was joking, Enron thought for a moment and said, the preferential policies for college student soldiers in the country this year are very good. If you really want to join the military, it is indeed a good opportunity. However, before making a decision, should you discuss it with your uncle and aunt? That's natural, I'll go give them a call now. Chapter 002. Hero Fusion System, Seeking Collection. Seeking. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 3 days later, on the plain of the mine. Several military trucks with slogans reading, Love our country, aspire to national defense, are speeding along the road. Inside the carriage, Jiang Chen was wearing a winter training uniform and feeling quite excited. Now there are still a few kilometers away from the military camp. Once he reaches the camp, his system will be fully activated, and from then on, he will marry Bai Fumei and reach the pinnacle of his life. Lift your head and look around. There are several familiar faces next to him. He Chenguang, Wang Yanbing, and Li Erniu. It's the iron triangle inside Tayer. But now Wang Yanbing is gritting his teeth as he looks at He Chenguang, with a strong sense of disagreement and a direct intention to take action. He Chenguang, you smashed my stall and damaged my phone. You have to compensate me. Wang Yanbing gritted his teeth and said. He Chenguang sneered and said, Wang Yanbing, I was saving the lives of the people. If you have the ability, you should go find the police uncle. Wang Yanbing was scolded and had nothing to say, while Jiang Chen sneered. This He Chenguang is not inferior to being a representative of Wei Guangzheng. In just one sentence, I put myself on the moral high ground. But if you want to save the lives of the people, why should Wang Yanbing bear the losses? Even if the police handle the case and harm the interests of the people, they will still provide compensation, right? Several military vehicles continued to move forward and soon arrived at a military base. It's time to get off the car. In the roar of the veteran, the back door of the truck was opened by someone. The new recruits got off the car one after another and kept looking at the military camp, their eyes full of curiosity. Not far away, a vigorous iron fist sculpture stands on the playground. Next to them, the flags of the Siege Company, the Sharpshooter Company, and the Tiger Company are fluttering in the wind on the high platform in front of the empty ground. Captain Gong Jian and second-class Sergeant Elder He Zheng stood together. Looking at the scattered new recruits below, Old Black frowned and suddenly shouted, "Everyone stand up for me." The new recruits were suddenly startled and quickly gathered together according to Old Black's request. But after all, they have not received professional training, and the queue they formed is also crooked and unsightly. Gong Jian took 2 steps forward and looked at the new recruits with a smile on his face. "Welcome to join the army, comrades. My name is Gong Jian and I am the instructor of your new recruits company." Just as everyone thought he was easy to talk to, his face changed and he looked at them coldly. "Look at each of you, wearing military uniforms without any military appearance. You chatter and look around, and even standing in a queue is crooked. It's better than an old lady selling popsicles at the entrance of the base." After hearing these words, many new recruits looked at Gong Jian with a disdainful expression. Jiang Chen's face was quite calm. He knew that this was a routine training session in the army and a necessary step for new recruits to enter the camp. Gong Jian's gaze swept over the crowd and specifically paused on He Chenguang and Jiang Chen. He Chenguang and the other 3 are his teachers, and Fan Tianlei was specially arranged to join the Iron Fist troop, so he must have some outstanding qualities. As for Jiang Chen, he was greeted in advance by Enron and is said to be a student at the National University of Defense Technology. After scanning around, Gong Jian took a step and walked up to everyone, saying, "Your place is called the Iron Fist Group. Why is it called the Iron Fist Regiment?" "Because it's an iron fist forged during war. Come to the Iron Fist Troop, don't talk to me about the era of peace." "What is the era of peace? It's all nonsense. Did you see the slogan over there?" The new soldiers looked in the direction pointed by Gong Jian, and there were several large bright red fonts on the wall next to them. "Be vigilant and prepare for war." For soldiers, there is only war and preparation for war. So you have nothing else here. Just preparation for war. Remember, the honor of the Iron Fist is forged by the blood of martyrs. Since you have come to the Iron Fist, I will not allow you to smear it." Gong Jian roared. In Jiang Chen's mind, the cold voice of the system came from Chuanhao. "Ding! It has been detected that the host has officially entered the military camp, and the LOL Hero Fusion system has been officially activated. Starting to distribute beginner gift packages now. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a Blind Monk experience card. After using it, you can extract the most outstanding ability of the Blind Monk. Do you want to use it? LOL Hero Fusion System. Blind Monk experience card. Jiang Chen is really confused. What situation is this? According to the plot in the novel, shouldn't all the systems activated when entering the military camp be war god systems or training systems? How come this is so weird to me? What kind of system is this? Ding, are you using the blind monk experience card now? The system prompt sounds again. Use. Jiang Chen quickly made a choice. Practice is the only way to test truth. Don't you just give a try to see if a system is good or not. As soon as his thoughts were conveyed, Jiang Chen felt a warm current like an electric current, instantly spreading throughout his limbs. He felt as if all the cells in his body were activated, and the pores on his body surface were also stretched out. At this moment, he only felt refreshed and comfortable, and his strength seemed to have increased significantly. The comfortable force lasted for less than 2 seconds when Jiang Chen suddenly felt a burst of pain in his head, and countless messages poured in like a torrent. After a few seconds, it seemed like a long time had passed, and the swelling and pain slowly disappeared. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the fighting skills and combat experience of blind monk Li Qing, and for entering the master realm of fighting skills. Upon hearing the system prompt, Jiang Chen couldn't help but smile a little more on his face. He never expected that a beginner gift pack could directly elevate his fighting skills to the level of a master. The swelling and pain that just came to my mind was the fighting skills of the blind monk for decades. The system suddenly stuffed all these fighting skills into Jiang Chen's mind, and in this situation, if the head didn't hurt, it would be strange, that soldier. Unfortunately, Gong Jian happened to see the smile on Jiang Chen's face. He squinted his eyes and looked at Jiang Chen. What's your name? Interestingly, I spoke so seriously above, and you smiled so brilliantly below. I really consider myself a clown. Seeing Gong Jian staring at him, Jiang Chen couldn't help but exclaim, report to the instructor, my name is Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen. Gong Jian asked in a deep voice, do you think what I said earlier was very funny? No. Since it's not there, what are you laughing at? Jiang Chen was speechless, and Gong Jian clearly wanted to make him stand up, so everything he said was wrong. Don't think that being a college student can make you special. Gong Jian stared at Jiang Chen and said, this is a military camp, not a campus. Here, everything must be done according to the rules. In this place, I make you laugh before you can. Otherwise, even if there is a big celebration, you can only hold it for me. Do you understand? Understood. Just understand, Gong Jian shouted coldly, Old Black. Arrive. Lao He snapped and stood at attention. I'll leave this person to you. Teach him the rules of the military camp. Yes. Lao He glanced lightly at Jiang Chen and responded in a deep voice. The veterans standing behind the two instinctively looked at Jiang Chen, their eyes filled with sympathy. This unlucky child was targeted by Old Black on the first day of arriving at the military camp, and for the next 3 months, he could bear it. Chapter 003. The Xiongren clan will never be slave, please collect. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After the training, Gong Jian left directly. Next is the division of new recruits. Without further ado, Jiang Chen was naturally assigned to the first squad of the new recruits led by Lao He. Along with him were a trio of He Chenguang, Wang Yanbing, Li Erniu, and 5 other new recruits. Let me introduce myself. I am a second-level sergeant of the Iron Fist Regiment, your squad leader, and also their squad leader. Lao He pointed to the old soldier beside him and said, because I am ruthless and my hands are black, they all call me Lao He squad leader, but you can only call me squad leader. Before you talk to me, you must add the word, squad leader. I will train you for 3 months, 24 hours a day. Do you understand? Understood, class monitor. The 9 of them answered together, their voices quite loud. Before you left the new recruits company, I was your nightmare. You will become weapons, soldiers, and defenders of your country. But before this, you were just a group of ordinary people wearing military uniforms. A group of rags. Old Black walked in front of the new recruits and said, "My characteristic is being harsh and strict. You won't like me. But the more you hate me, the more you will learn. Although I am strict, I am very fair. There is no discrimination here, you are all the same new recruits. Whether you come from rural or urban areas, your father is a high-ranking official or a farmer, I treat you equally here. My task is to eliminate cowards, and young masters who cannot endure hardship, because they cannot become members of the Iron Fist group I love. Do you understand?" "Understood, class monitor." Lao He nodded and looked at Jiang Chen and others. "Do you know why I chose you?" No one speaks. They only know that Jiang Chen was personally named by Gong Jian, and as for why he was selected by Lao He, they really don't know. Old Black suddenly roared, "Because you are a bunch of trash. Xiong Bing. Nua Bing. Rotten Bing. In one sentence, they are the least skilled soldiers. You don't even deserve to be called soldiers because you're just trash. You're just a bunch of shit. You came to the army just to be at the bottom." Several new recruits looked angrily at Lao He, their eyes filled with disbelief. Ding, detected that the host's profession and personality have been insulted, system task triggered. The Xiongren tribe will never be slaves. Prove to Old Black that you are not a Xiongбing and reward them with a lottery opportunity. Listening to the system prompt sound in his mind, Jiang Chen was also slightly stunned. "I'll go, can this system still draw lots? I don't know if there are any other functions besides distributing hero experience cards and lucky draws." Report. Just as Jiang Chen was thinking about how to complete the system task, He Chenguang's voice suddenly came in. Old Black's sharp gaze fell on He Chenguang. He Chenguang was a bit scared when he stared at him, but he still gritted his head and said, "Class monitor, we haven't started training yet. Why do you call us Xiongбing?" Lao Haimian remained expressionless and said, "Not bad. You know how to report before speaking. Have you had contact with the military before?" He Chenguang looked proud and said, "My grandfather and father both served in the military. I grew up in the military compound since I was young." "Yo, a military family, not bad, not bad." The smile on He Chenguang's face had not yet bloomed, and Lao He's face suddenly changed. He shouted at him, "But have I approved you to speak? Has it been approved?" Report, "No." He Chenguang replied with a pursed mouth. Lao He pointed at He Chenguang's nose and shouted, "You've heard me clearly. Because of this soldier, all of you have to be punished." He Chenguang's face turned pale, while the others looked pale. He truly deserves to be the ruthless and ruthless Old Black class leader. As soon as he was assigned to the class, he wanted them to be punished, "Take your things and run circles on the playground. As long as someone can run me down, I admit you're not bear people." After speaking, Old Black clenched his fists in his chest and said, "Run. Walk." Lao He led the team ahead, while Jiang Chen and others quickly followed with their backpacks and ran towards the nearby playground. On the hillside next to the training ground, Gong Jian was holding a telescope to observe the new recruits below. When he saw Jiang Chen and others about to enter the playground, the corner of his mouth lifted and a smile appeared. "These new recruits are all little emperors at home, young master. If we don't give them a boost, it will be difficult for them to train in the future. Only by taming them all can they understand what exactly a military camp is." The group quickly arrived at the playground. Jiang Chen followed at the back of the team, eager to try. Previously, after integrating the blind monk experience card, he felt that his strength and physical fitness had increased significantly, but the specific extent of the increase still needs to be tested through practice. And running is a great way to test it. You don't need to run with me. If anyone wants to accelerate, they can accelerate at any time. As long as they run further than me, I will retract what I said before and apologize to them. Old Black's voice came from the front. He Chenguang and others silently followed behind Lao He, with no one speaking. This lap race is clearly a protracted battle. Those who accelerated at the beginning are all fools. If you want to run far, you need to conserve your physical fitness and persist for a longer period of time. Schwa. At this moment, a black shadow suddenly rushed out from behind and quickly surpassed Old Black, charging forward. I'll go. Wang Yanbing instinctively looked ahead, and in just the blink of an eye, Jiang Chen had already rushed 10 meters away. You can really pretend. Wang Yanbing shouted disdainfully. Around the playground, the squad leaders who were leading the new recruits also looked over. Indeed, he is a new recruit's egg. Even the platoon leader doesn't understand the principle of running at a constant speed. With his running style, he probably won't be able to hold on to even a lap. I heard this kid is still a college student. Are all college students like this now? Should it be trying to get the limelight and catch Old Black's attention? I think he wants to become the deputy class monitor, right? In today's online society, one can also learn a lot about things in military camps through the internet. For example, in a new recruit company, if you perform well enough and have a good relationship with the squad leader, you may be promoted to deputy squad leader. Although this deputy squad leader is only temporary, with this resume, once you become a veteran in the company, you may become a deputy squad leader in your second year of service. This is also a kind of fate. Jiang Chen, who was at the forefront, didn't know what others were thinking. The reason why he runs so fast is entirely to test his physical fitness level. As for being in the limelight or something, he never really thought about it. A lap came down quickly, and Jiang Chen's speed did not decrease, continuing to sprint forward. His current speed has reached the speed of a normal person's 100-meter sprint, but after a lap, he did not feel any fatigue, and even felt that his speed could be further improved on the slope next to the playground. Gong Jian held a telescope and stared intently at the few people on the playground. When he saw Jiang Chen, who was far ahead, he instinctively frowned. Is this kid just so fond of showing off? Chapter 004. Shocked Master Kang, Seeking Collection. Seeking. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Buzzing. The roar of the engine came, and a military jeep stopped not far away. The car door opened and a colonel dressed in camouflage, carrying 2 3-stars on his shoulders, got out of the car. Gong Jian ran 2 steps and saluted the other party, saying, Captain. The person who came is the leader of the Iron Fist Troop, Master Kang, Kang Lei. Kang Lei nodded and pointed to the playground below. What's going on? What's going on, Lao He? Captain, new recruits are enlisting, and Old Black is teaching them the rules of the military camp. Gong Jian smiled. Kang Lei smiled and said, it's necessary to make these new recruits familiar with the rules of our Iron Fist team. But remember, everything must be handled well and not too much. Speaking, Kang Lei suddenly let out a cry and looked at the figure at the front of the team who was far ahead. Gong Jian, how many laps have you made? Report to team leader, second round. Only the second lap. Gong Jian quickly understood Kang Lei's meaning and said with a smile, this kid is a current student at the National University of Defense Technology. He probably likes to stand out, so he showed a sprint attitude from the beginning. In my opinion, he can't keep up with his physical fitness after running this lap at most. Kang Lei pondered and said, nowadays, new recruits are not very mature in their minds. As a counselor, you cannot just focus on military affairs. The psychological development of new recruits should also be emphasized. Yes. Kang Lei touched his chin and looked at He Chenguang and Wang Yanbing, who were closely following Lao He. These 2 soldiers are pretty good, they can keep up with Lao He's rhythm, he said. Gong Jian explained with a smile, Captain, these 2 soldiers were specially placed by Chief of Staff Fan in our Iron Fist Regiment. They must have their own strengths. Chief of Staff Fan. Kang Lei turned his head and said, "Are you saying, that old kid Fan Tianlei?" Gong Jian nodded with a bitter smile. Master Kang dares to call Fan Tianlei an old boy, but he, who is a student, dare not, this old fox. Every time he borrows my hand to cultivate talent for him. Kang Lei looked displeased and said, "Gong Jian, you can keep an eye on these two new recruits with me. You can't let Fan Tianlei's old fox take them away again. Do you understand?" "Captain, don't worry, I will definitely take good care of them." Gong Jian immediately guaranteed. Master Kang nodded and was about to turn around when he suddenly let out a "hey" and stood in place. Following Master Kang's gaze, Gong Jian's face also showed a hint of surprise. On the playground below, Jiang Chen still maintained his previous sprint speed without any intention of slowing down. Moreover, at his current speed, he can immediately catch up with Lao He and complete the trap. Step by step. The sound of steady and rapid footsteps came from behind. Before Lao He could turn his head, a figure passed by him. He instinctively furrowed his brow. Another rookie who loves to show off. It seems that we need to find some time to practice these rookies well and make them understand that military camps are not This silhouette old black suddenly widened his eyes. "It's Jiang Chen. I just finished running 1 kilometer. Jiang Chen completed the hoop for them. You should know that in order to shake off this group of new recruits, his speed is not too slow, and he only looks like he's about 1/3 ahead after running 1 kilometer. What about Jiang Chen? In the same time, he ran 1,500 meters. Moreover, the speed has not decreased at all." Around the playground, several class leaders began to discuss again. Did this kid take a stimulant? It's too strong. Old Black may have found a treasure this time. If you find a treasure, you're just a rookie egg who loves to show off. Lao Zhao, let's not worry about whether he likes to show off or not. How many times have you seen him with his physical fitness and pace? Lao Zhao opened his mouth and was speechless. He has never seen much of this kind of physical fitness, not to mention in the new recruit company, even in the Iron Fist Regiment. On the halfway slope, Master Kang, who had originally planned to leave, stopped in place, his hands clasped around his chest, and he looked down with great interest. I want to see how long this new recruit's egg can last. Gong Jian smiled and looked down with Master Kang. Watching Jiang Chen shake himself off again, Old Black's footsteps couldn't help but quicken. I am at least the oldest sergeant in the Iron Fist Regiment. If I were really caught in a few circles by a new recruit, how would I see anyone in the future? After Lao He accelerated, the group of new soldiers following him also had to start holding their breath and accelerating. But after all, they are just a group of new recruits, so their durability is naturally not very good. They haven't finished 2 laps yet, and their speed has slowed down again. Step by step. Watching Jiang Chen complete the loop again, everyone felt a deep sense of powerlessness. Sleeping trough, this brother, he took medicine, right? This is too aggressive. Class monitor, I suggest conducting a urine test on Jiang Chen. He definitely didn't have a drop of urine, the other person said confidently. Li Erniu panted heavily and asked, Brother, P. There's no urine in the urine, where? Where is there anything? Everyone rolled their eyes together and continued to grit their teeth as they ran forward. Does this silly guy lack any sense of humor? As time passed, whether it was the newly recruited soldiers, the veterans around the playground, or the secretly observed Master Kang and Gong Jian, everyone was stunned. Is this really a new recruit? Even veterans cannot have such physical fitness, can they? This is too abnormal. Gong Jian, is this the 10th lap? Master Kang asked with some disbelief. Gong Jian nodded blankly, his face also filled with undisguised shock. I ran 10 laps at a sprint speed of 100 meters and covered 3 full laps with Lao He. Such abnormal physical ability, even among the skilled marksmen in the 4 battalion, no one is likely to surpass it. 2 more laps passed, and Jiang Chen caught up with Lao He and others for the 4th time. Brother! Brother, are you still a man? As he ran past a soldier, the man gasped and tried his best to complain to Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen chuckled and said, "Brother, I can't hold on anymore, but I must hold on. I can't let Lao He think we're all bear soldiers." After speaking, Jiang Chen accelerated again and quickly ran 10 meters away. Watching Jiang Chen pass by him again, Lao He's black face became even darker. I originally wanted to suppress these new recruits in one fell swoop, but I didn't expect that there was a pervert like Jiang Chen among the new recruits. It seems that I stole chicken today and couldn't eat rice, Gong Jian, that's about it. Hurry up and make them stop. On the half-slope, Master Kang had to say to Gong Jian. He naturally understood Old Black's intentions. But if we continue, it's really uncertain who is putting pressure on who. Yes. Gong Jian immediately responded. By the way, give me a copy of the information about that college soldier. Yes, Captain. Chapter 005. He Chenguang. Free sandbags. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Beep beep. A hurried whistle suddenly sounded, and Gong Jian stood in the center of the playground, stopping Jiang Chen and others. Stop, everyone stop. Jiang Chen, who was at the forefront, stopped first and sprinted continuously for more than 10 laps, 5 or 6 kilometers. It is impossible to say that he is not tired. If it weren't for his recent integration of the blind monk experience card and significant improvement in physical fitness, he would probably have become a tired dog after running a lap. This also indirectly reflects the power of the system. Sure enough, people cannot be judged by their appearance, and the system cannot be underestimated. We can't just think that the system is junk just because its name doesn't look good. Step by step, accompanied by the sound of sparse footsteps, Old Black and a group of other recruits also slowly stopped. It has to be said that Old Black's physical fitness is really not built up. After more than 10 consecutive laps, his footsteps remained calm. Looking at Jiang Chen with a uniform breath and a few drops of sweat on his face, Lao He suddenly walked forward and stood 20 centimeters away from him, staring at him with his eyes fixed on him. At this distance, either to fight or to kiss. Old Black shouldn't have taken action against a new recruit, should he? Who knows, this kid has caused Lao He to lose face. Pungent, absolutely piercing. Sorry, I'll retract my previous words. You're not Xiongren. Old Black suddenly spoke. What? What did I hear? Did Lao He just apologize? Veterans apologize to new recruits. Still, the oldest veteran of the Iron Fist Regiment apologized to the new recruits who joined on the first day. If this were to spread, it would cause a huge uproar in the southeast military region. Yeah. After a few seconds of silence, a thunderous cheer erupted among the new recruits, and the gaze of several new recruits in the first class towards Jiang Chen was filled with a hint of respect and gratitude. This is Jiang Chen's victory, and it is also their victory. Jiang Chen regained their dignity through his actions, proving that they were not just bear soldiers or cowardly soldiers. Jiang Chen looked at Lao He with some surprise. He didn't expect that Old Black could really put down his face and apologize to him in public. After all, what Lao He said before was, as long as someone can run him down, he will admit that Jiang Chen and the others are not Xiongren and apologize to them. He can easily use this as an excuse to deceive this matter. But he didn't do that, he chose to apologize. But don't be complacent, Old Black said in a deep voice. In the next 3 months, I will keep an eye on you at all times. If I seize the opportunity, I will definitely make you regret coming to the place. Jiang Chen nodded without saying much. As someone who has watched TV dramas, he naturally knows that Lao He is such a tough-lipped and soft-hearted person. This is also a common trait among most men in the military. Ding, congratulations to the host for completing the bear removal mission and winning a lottery opportunity. The system prompt had just fallen when Gong Jian's voice rang out. Alright, you guys bring your own people back and allocate beds. Yes. All the new recruits quickly gathered and walked towards the dormitory building under the guidance of their respective squad leaders. New Recruits Company. A class of dormitories. After dividing the beds, Old Black said to the crowd, "Alright, remember your respective beds. Now open your luggage and turn in all the things that do not belong to the military camp." Amidst the howls of pleading, Old Black walked out with a pile of phones, snacks, lighters, and cigarettes, leaving 9 new recruits standing in place with mournful faces. "Brother Chen, my name is Li Erniu." A few seconds later, Li Erniu looked at Jiang Chen with a silly smile and said, "From today on, you are my idol, and I want to become someone as powerful as you." Jiang Chen smiled and nodded, giving Li Erniu an encouraging look. Don't be fooled by Li Erniu's iron and silly appearance in TV dramas, but his physical fitness is definitely not bad. Growing up in the countryside and dropping out of school early to work on construction sites, if one's physical fitness is not good, they may not be able to survive long ago. In one sentence, this guy is an iron and silly person with well-developed limbs, lack of confidence, and a very unique brain circuit. Brother Chen, thanks to you today, otherwise we might have been called Xiongren and Noa Bing by Old Black for several months. The other person looked gratefully at Jiang Chen. "Jiang comrade, hello, my name is He Chenguang." He Chenguang took the initiative to extend his right hand to Jiang Chen and said, "From now on, everyone will be brothers in the same class. I hope Jiang comrade can take care of us more." Jiang Chen gently grasped He Chenguang's right hand, but the next second, a force came from He Chenguang's hand. Jiang Chen sneered in his heart, "This guy is indeed not a good bird. Since you want to test, I'll let you test it enough." Jiang Chen's face remained unchanged, but the strength in his hands gradually increased. At first, He Chenguang was able to handle it, but soon his eyebrows furrowed tightly together. The power transmitted from Jiang Chen's hand is not fierce, but it is continuous, one weight higher than the other. In less than 10 seconds, he felt waves of pain coming from his right hand bone, and the smile on his face gradually twisted. He had intended to draw out his right hand and end the game with dignity. But the power in Jiang Chen's hands is still slowly increasing, and no matter how much he resists, it won't work. Alright, comrade Jiang, I'll give up. He Chenguang had to apologize and admit his guilt. Jiang Chen finally let go and said, "Comrade He, I thought this was your way of greeting, why? Did it hurt you?" He Chenguang smiled bitterly and said, "Jiang comrades, don't make fun of me anymore. In terms of strength, I am willing to bow down. However, Jiang's comrades' physical fitness and strength are not bad. I don't know how close combat works. Do you have time to practice?" "Okay," Jiang Chen nodded and agreed. After integrating the blind monk experience card, he also wants to find someone to fight well. Now that there is a sandbag delivered to his door, he naturally won't refuse. After dividing the beds, it happened to be dinner time, and the first team of the new recruits, led by Lao He, arrived at the cafeteria. According to the rules of the military camp, soldiers must sing before meals. More than 100 new recruits from the new army company lined up according to their respective classes and sang, "Unity is Strength," at the entrance of the cafeteria. The biggest difference between singing and singing is that it depends on who has a loud voice and which class has a strong aura, rather than who sings well. So the chorus of over 100 people really deserves the 4 words, ghosts crying and wolves howling. Get on the dumpling and get off the bus. In order to welcome the new recruits, the cafeteria specially prepared steaming hot noodles for them. Boiled noodles in white water plus a bottle of Old Godmother and a poached egg. This is Jiang Chen's first dinner when they entered the military camp. Firstly, after a long drive, coupled with running more than 10 laps on the playground, all the new recruits had a great appetite. A simple whitewater boiled noodles paired with lao gan ma, everyone was stunned and finished several bowls. After dinner, they watched the news broadcast together in the canteen, and then were taken back to the training ground. Under the illumination of incandescent lights around the training ground, new recruits are distributed on the training ground in groups. It's 7:40 now, and there are still 80 minutes left until we bring it back at 9 o'clock. Lao He came to the front of the team and said, "In these 80 minutes, let's have the simplest standing posture training." Standing posture training is divided into 4 movements. Lao He's gaze swept over the crowd and his footsteps moved lightly, demonstrating to them. The first step is to gather your feet together, with your toes pointing outward about 60 degrees. The second step is to lift your head up and straighten your chest, slightly retract your lower abdomen, press your back neck tightly against your back collar, look straight ahead with both eyes, and slightly stretch your shoulders back. Step 3, pay attention to my arms and hand shape. My arms should hang naturally, my fingers should be slightly bent together, my thumb should be tightly pressed against the second joint of my index finger, and my middle finger should be pressed against the seam of my pants, ensuring that there are no gaps in the front and no gaps in the back. The final step is to lean forward slightly, placing the center of gravity in the center of the feet, while keeping both legs straight and pushing the knees back slightly. Keep your head straight, your neck straight, your mouth closed, your jaw slightly closed, and your eyes straight ahead. That's all the requirements. Start training now. Chapter 006. Say 2 sentences. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Dear experts, the new book has been uploaded. We hope everyone can support us and give us some free flowers. Additional rules. Guaranteed 4 changes, 2,000 per chapter plus 500 fresh flowers and 1 watch. 300 comments plus 1 update. 1 reward and 1 watch. 50 comments plus 1 update. New book grades are crucial, and we hope everyone can support us. Thank you very much. Chapter 006. Old silver coins, Old Black. 500 fresh flowers. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After everyone stood firm, Old Black took steps and began to leisurely check the movements of the new recruits. Li Erniu, your stomach is quite high. Are you pregnant? Ah. Oh what, keep your chest up and keep your abdomen tight. Yes. Wen Chaolei, your legs are so soft. Are you suffering from kidney deficiency? Keep your legs tight. Wang Yanbing, arm. Clamp your arm tightly for me. He Chenguang, I'll make your palms stick tightly to your pants. What does it mean to stick tightly? Are you leaving such a big hole to run a mouse? When Lao He was picking on other people's faults, Jiang Chen adjusted his military posture, silently opened the system, and began the lottery. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining proficiency in internal affairs and proficiency in individual military formations movements. As soon as his voice fell, Jiang Chen felt that a lot of knowledge had been added to his mind out of thin air. Proficient in internal affairs goes without saying. It's just stacking tofu chunks, making the bed, and tidying up the house. The actions of a single soldier formation include standing at attention, taking a break, stopping and turning, marching in unison, running, standing still, saluting, forming a column, forming a horizontal line, gathering, disbanding, aligning, and counting. Based on the information in his mind and the key points mentioned by Lao He, Jiang Chen began to adjust his movements slightly according to the most standard military posture. The originally tense body slowly relaxed, but overall there was no feeling of stretching. Both hands naturally and steadily placed on the edge of the thighs, effortlessly achieving what Old Black said of, no seams in the front and no holes in the back. Old Black, who happened to come over, looked at Jiang Chen with some surprise. He just realized that Jiang Chen's movements were so standard. Stand tall and upright, with a body like a javelin. But looking ahead, even this veteran of over 20 years couldn't find any flaws. With such a standard military posture, one can directly become a flag bearer. There was no problem in front of him, and Old Black moved his steps to come behind Jiang Chen. For new recruits who are just starting to stand in a military position, their hands will unconsciously contract under the action of their tendons, revealing a hole between their palms and thighs. With just a gentle poke, one can easily reach their palms. I poke. Old Black looked at his right hand somewhat unexpectedly. Surprisingly, it didn't go in. This kid's military posture is even more standard than He Chenguang. However, AsoHe did not intend to easily let Jiang Chen go. His right hand lightly turned and suddenly grabbed Jiang Chen's wrist, moving outwards. Not moving at all. Watching Jiang Chen still standing in place, AsoHe became even more surprised. Sure, kid. Listening to AsoHe's slightly approving voice behind him, Jiang Chen was about to breathe a sigh of relief when he suddenly felt a force coming from behind his knees, his legs softening and instinctively bending. I'll go, it's really gloomy. Fortunately, his attention was more focused. At the moment when his knees bent, Jiang Chen instinctively exerted force on his legs. The just bent legs suddenly straightened and returned to their original state. Don't worry, this old punk is definitely intentional. First, use language communication to relax your guard, then suddenly attack and embarrass yourself. Old Black, we don't have any deep hatred. Are you trying so hard to make things difficult for me, a new recruit? Watching Jiang Chen quickly recover to his original state, Old Black snorted coldly and glanced at his watch. From the beginning of training until now, it has been exactly 15 minutes. Everyone has it. Rest in place for 15 seconds and start the next subject. As soon as AsoHe finished speaking, someone complained discontentedly, "Class monitor, other classes take a 30-second break. Why is it 15 seconds when it comes to our class?" Old Black turned his head to look at the speaker and shouted in a deep voice, "First of all, when speaking in the queue, you should report in advance. If you make another mistake, everyone will cancel their rest time. As for why you can only rest for 15 seconds. Because I'm your monitor, I'm the final say here. Do you have any questions? Report to the class monitor, there's nothing left." AsoHe glanced at the time and said, "All right, it's time to start the next subject. Everyone has it, stand at attention." With AsoHe's command, Jiang Chen and others, who were originally resting, immediately straightened their heads and stood in place. Next training subject, squat and stand up. AsoHe's gaze swept over the crowd and said, "I will only demonstrate once, pay attention to the essentials of the movements. There are two commands for squatting and standing. When you hear the command for squatting, keep your left foot still, take a small step back with your right foot, and land on your toes." Speaking, AsoHe withdrew his right leg and demonstrated the movements for Jiang Chen and others according to the essentials. When I shout 2, you should bend your left foot, squat down, keep your upper body straight, and put your hands on your knees. Note that after squatting, the left foot should be placed flat on the ground, and the left leg should naturally bend and open to the left by about 30 degrees. Place your right foot on the ground with your toes pointed up and your heel raised, placing the center of gravity of your buttocks on your right foot. Open your right knee down and to the right for about 60 angles, place your hands flat on your thighs, align your fingertips with your knees, press your elbows tightly against your ribs, keep your upper body straight, hold your head high and chest straight, and look ahead. When you hear the command to stand up, quickly stand up, put your foot back, and quickly press your right heel against your left heel to establish a straight position. After speaking, AsoHe stood up one by one, quickly withdrew his feet, and stood steadily in place. Did you see everything clearly? See it clearly. Once you've seen it clearly, move it. Everyone, pay attention. Old Black ordered, "Move it, squat down." After the order was given, Jiang Chen immediately followed Lao Hei's instructions and quickly took a step back with his right leg tilted towards the back, touching the ground with his toes and standing steadily in place. Compared to Li Erniu and others who didn't retreat decisively and wobbled when retreating, Jiang Chen's movements were definitely neat and pleasing to the eye. 2. After everyone stood firm, Old Black issued a new order. Jiang Chen, standing in place, squatted down with the flow. During this process, his upper body remained straight, and his hands naturally slid to the front of his thighs, maintaining their original hand shape. His hands were firmly placed on his knees. From a side view, he is like a sculpture, with his right foot firmly supporting his entire body, and his left leg presenting a perfect right angle of 90 degrees. Sharp movements and perfect squats. If He Chenguang could achieve these things, Old Black wouldn't be surprised. Because he comes from a military family and has served in the military for 3 generations, it is not surprising that he can achieve these things. What about Jiang Chen? After eating on Jiang Chen in the afternoon, Lao He specifically went to see Jiang Chen's information. According to the information, he is a child from an ordinary family. This is also his first time entering the military camp. But why could he perform such a perfect posture and squat? For new recruits, this is simply impossible. Jiang Chen. Arrive. Jiang Chen, squatting on the ground, instinctively responded. Stand up. Yes. Jiang Chen exerted force on both legs and stood firmly in place. Have you received professional training before? Lao He couldn't help but ask as he looked at Jiang Chen in front of him. Jiang Chen was slightly taken aback and quickly understood. It seems that it was because his movements were too standard that Lao He caught his attention. With a flash of his gaze, Jiang Chen reluctantly admitted, "Report to the class monitor, I have indeed received professional training. P.S. Brother, there are basically no people in the comment section, and there are few flowers. If you have any, please leave a message and post GGG in the comment section. Thank you." Chapter 007. Selection of Deputy Class Leaders. Seeking Collection. Seeking. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Oh. Old Black took 2 steps forward and walked up to Jiang Chen. Where did you receive the training? He had already looked at Jiang Chen's information before, but there was no record of him receiving professional training. Is it difficult to say that this kid is a talent secretly trained by a special department? Report to the class monitor, we learned these things during the school's military training before. Military training. Lao He almost bit his tongue. That thing can also be called professional training. The others around also instinctively turned their heads. Big brother, they are all young men with red scarves who have participated in military training under the national flag. Why are you so outstanding? Especially He Chenguang standing next to Jiang Chen. In his gaze towards Jiang Chen, apart from shock, there was also a hint of collapse. From childhood to adulthood, his grandfather has always demanded of him according to military standards. What stand and sit postures are the most basic? He was always praised by the instructor during the school military training before. Since arriving at the military camp, he suffered various blows one after another. Running cannot run as fast as Jiang Chen, and his hand strength is not as strong as Jiang Chen's. Nowadays, even his military posture is not up to the standard of Jiang Chen's station. Having only participated in a few military training sessions, the military posture is even more standard than oneself. How can this not make people collapse? Have you never participated in any other training besides military training? Old Black still felt a bit skeptical. Report to the class monitor, no. Old Black nodded calmly, but his heart was filled with joy. It seems that I really found the treasure this time. Having a high education, strong physical ability, and quick learning of military posture, it is definitely a good candidate for a military king to cultivate well. So, Lao He looked at Jiang Chen again and said, "For the next training, just stand up to me and give others a demonstration." "Yes." Jiang Chen walked to the front of the queue and stood in line with Lao He. He has now gained proficiency in individual soldier formation movements, and is very standard in any movement, so he is naturally not afraid to demonstrate to others. Everyone has it. Pay attention to the action essentials I mentioned earlier and observe Jiang Chen's movements. Old Black ordered in a deep voice, "Everyone, squat down and stand up." Continuous movements, squat down. Looking at the front of the team, Jiang Chen stood next to Lao He and demonstrated to others. He Chenguang and Wang Yanbing exchanged a glance, both seeing the word "disagree" in their respective eyes. They are both extremely proud people, but now they have been trampled on by someone else, and they are naturally not convinced. As for other new recruits, there are also some who are somewhat dissatisfied. Who wouldn't want to stand out and become the most handsome guy in the new recruit company, both of whom are new recruits and around 20. If you want to stand out and stand at the forefront of the team, you can only work hard to train and make your movements more standardized. Feeling a completely different training atmosphere from before, watching the fighting spirit ignite in the eyes of these new recruits, a wicked smile appeared on Old Black's face. This is also one of his purposes for making Jiang Chen stand in front of the team. "Li Erniu, put your hands on your knees. Can't you distinguish between your knees and thighs? Wang Yanbing, straighten your waist for me." Let's see how Jiang Chen did it. He Chenguang, shift your center of gravity back and sit on your right foot to keep up. Timing for 5 minutes, start now. The next subject is running and standing. Jiang Chen, give them a demonstration first. Lao He was just preparing for the next training when Gong Jian happened to walk over and said, "Lao He. It's time, take it back to the class meeting." When Gong Jian saw Jiang Chen standing in the front of the team in the most standard military posture, a hint of surprise flashed in his eyes. He had only seen such a standard military posture on some veteran soldiers who had served for 7 or 8 years, and he never expected that Jiang Chen could also achieve it. "Yes." Old Black responded. "Jiang Chen is on the list, everyone will run and bring it back." "Yes." Several new recruits immediately followed Old Black's request and ran towards the dormitory. After the team left, Gong Jian smiled and looked at Lao He, "How are you? Are there any good seedlings?" "Instructor, I was just about to report this to you. It's just Jiang Chen in our class, he." 15 minutes later, after finishing hot water with the new recruits, Old Black looked at the 9 new recruits in the dormitory. "Everyone has it. Get ready for Maza. Let go. Sit down." The same command was conveyed simultaneously in each dormitory of the new recruits company. "Today, our class will hold a class affairs meeting to introduce ourselves and get to know each other." Lao He's gaze swept over the crowd, and even his black face, which had collapsed all day long, showed a rare smile. "I have already introduced myself. Now, let's introduce ourselves to each other and get to know each other. Jiang Chen, let's give everyone a try first." Although Jiang Chen made it difficult for Lao He to step down this afternoon, it has to be said that he has left an indelible impression in Lao He's heart. Even when introducing himself, Jiang Chen was the first person that Lao He thought of. "Hello everyone, my name is Jiang Chen, from Sichuan and Sichuan. I am on the 18th of this year, and when I arrive in Sichuan, I will treat everyone to hot pot." "Jiang Chen, if I remember correctly, are you still a student at the National University of Defense Technology?" Lao He then asked. "Yes." "Not bad, sit down." Lao He waved his hand and said, "Keep going, next one." "Hello class monitor and fellow soldiers, my name is He Chenguang and I come from Donghai City. Our family has been in the military for 3 generations, and I have some understanding of the military. If anyone has any questions in the future, please feel free to ask me." He Chenguang, sitting next to Jiang Chen, immediately said with an undisguised pride on his face. Next one. Lao He just nodded slightly and gestured for others to continue, which made He Chenguang feel a bit uncomfortable. Hello everyone, my name is Wang Yanbing and I'm from Donghai. I don't have much education. After graduating from junior high school, I became a thug. My current goal is to surpass Jiang Chen and become the most powerful new recruit in our class. Lao He smiled and said, then you have to work hard and continue. My name is Li Erniu, and like He Chenguang and Wang Yanbing, I come from the East China Sea. However, I am from a rural area and my brain is quite clumsy. I hope everyone doesn't dislike me. My name is Wen Chaolei, from Jin Province. After a brief self-introduction, the distance between everyone was noticeably narrowed. Lao He looked at everyone with a smile and said, since everyone has already gotten to know each other, let's start with the next topic. Select the deputy class monitor of our class. After listening to Lao He's words, the eyes of He Chenguang and Wang Yanbing instantly lit up. It is obvious that they are all very interested in the position of deputy class monitor. Although the deputy squad leader of the new recruits company is not officially appointed, it will also have a significant impact on your future military life. Lao He continued, if you can become the deputy squad leader in the new recruits company, as long as you don't cross the line and have no violations of discipline after being demoted, you will be given priority consideration when evaluating the advanced and promoting the deputy squad leader in the future. And the experience of the deputy squad leader will also be recorded in your file, whether you plan to develop in the army for the long term or transfer to a local job, there will be certain benefits. As for the requirements of the deputy class monitor. Firstly, one must have excellent military qualities and excel in all aspects of training. Secondly, one must be enthusiastic in helping comrades, leading the way and advancing the ladder. As for the last point, one's personal conduct must be upright and there must be no bad habits. Chapter 008. Autocratic Old Black. The deputy class monitor is you. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As soon as the old slang fell, everyone's gaze fell on Jiang Chen in unison. No, what are you all looking at me for? Who wants to be the deputy class monitor? Hurry up and introduce yourself. Jiang Chen felt very speechless. I only rubbed my old black face against the ground this afternoon. How could he possibly look at me? How could you make me the deputy class monitor? I think you all meet the requirements that the class monitor said. Li Erniu smiled foolishly and looked at Jiang Chen. When Chaolei continued, Erniu is right. Whether it's physical fitness or daily training, you are the most suitable. Although the others did not speak, they all nodded in agreement. Except for He Chenguang and Wang Yanbing, Jiang Chen. Old Black suddenly shouted. Arrive. Jiang Chen instinctively stood up. He, don't be so nervous, sit down and say. Lao He smiled and waved his hand to Jiang Chen, saying, our class meeting is actually a symposium where everyone can speak freely and say whatever they want. From the current situation, they all hope that you will become the deputy class leader. What do you think? Do you have the confidence to take on this heavy burden? Jiang Chen looked at Lao He with some surprise and said, class monitor, are you saying, let me be the deputy class monitor? Jiang Chen was confused. Big brother, we have a grudge. In the afternoon, you said you wanted to keep an eye on me, making me regret coming to this place. Did you forget? It's not me who said it, it's your comrade who said it. Lao He explained lightly, the troops are not my one man. Since they think you can be a good deputy squad leader and lead them to better results, I naturally have no objections. In fact, during the 3 months in the new recruits company, your performance has nothing to do with me. As soon as the 3 months arrive, I will go back wherever I come from. But you are different. Old Black's gaze swept over the crowd and said, it's not an exaggeration to say that the performance of the new recruits in 3 months will directly determine the path you will take in the future. Those who perform well will be selected for elite companies such as the Gunslinger 4th Company and the Tiger 6th Company, and may even enter special forces in the future. Those who perform poorly can only go to the logistics department to feed pigs. They chose you, which means they trust you. That's why I asked you, do you have the confidence to take on this burden? Report to class monitor. Jiang Chen stood up and looked at Lao He. Lao He nodded in satisfaction and looked at Jiang Chen with a smile. I don't want to be this deputy class monitor. Well, since you agreed, then. Halfway through, Old Black suddenly realized something was wrong. What? He just said he doesn't want to be the deputy class monitor. You said you're not doing it. Old Black didn't react for a moment and looked at Jiang Chen incredulously. According to the normal rhythm, after listening to what I said, shouldn't you pat your chest hard and say with a fighting spirit, can you guarantee the completion of the task? What the hell is this sentence, I won't do it? Yes, I won't do it. Jiang Chen's answer was very firm. He's not one of those 16 or 17-year-old brats, and Lao He's words don't interest him at all. What's the use of being a deputy class monitor besides worrying about this and taking care of that? This kind of thankless task, whoever likes to do it, he doesn't do it anyway. You. Looking at Jiang Chen's image of a dead pig not afraid of boiling water, Old Black was momentarily infuriated. But on second thought, he suddenly laughed again. Jiang Chen, I see you're just a lazy donkey grinding feces and peeing a lot. I don't care anymore. From today on, you'll be the deputy class leader of our first class. If you like to do it, you have to do it if you don't. Looking at Lao He, who was playing pranks, Jiang Chen felt very aggrieved and said, didn't you just say that the troops were not one man? Why did you turn around and start authoritarianism? Lao He chuckled and said, that's right, the army is not a one-man army. But Class 1 is. I said you're the deputy squad leader, you're the deputy squad leader. Besides, I didn't make this decision alone. You became the deputy class monitor, which was elected by everyone. Do you think so? After speaking, Lao He's sharp gaze swept over the other few people. Wherever they could see, others nodded like pounding garlic, showing a well-behaved demeanor. Since everyone agrees, then Jiang Chen will be our deputy class monitor. Let's start the next task. Jiang Chen didn't listen to a single word of the following content. Elderly people don't speak of martial arts ethics. How could there be someone like him? He clearly said he wouldn't do it, but he had to force himself to do it. Isn't this forcing Liang to put ducks on the shelves? After holding the class meeting with a gloomy mood, Jiang Chen briefly washed up and scalded his feet before going straight to bed. The next morning, it was not yet dawn. A piercing beep came from outside. Who, in the early morning, is it bothering me to keep people from sleeping? Are you bothering me? Mom, who's outside? Wake up, this is the wake.up number. If you're late, it's like a duck walk. Duck step. As Jiang Chen's voice came out, everyone first quieted down for a moment, then suddenly sat up from the bed, grabbed their clothes, and began to put them on their bodies. They suddenly remembered what Old Black had said last night. Gather in the morning, but anyone who is late must take a duck walk around the playground. That's a 400-meter duck walk. If they really want to take a lap, they will probably have to turn into looped legs for the next period of time. Clothes. Where are my pants? Oh my leg hurts so much. I knew I wouldn't have run so hard yesterday. Li Erniu, are you stupid? Those are my shoes, can you put them on? After a flurry of chicken and dog jumps, Jiang Chen and others finally gathered within the designated time. Perhaps thinking of the terror of the duck step, the gathering speed of Class 1 was actually the fastest among the new recruits. After standing for nearly 2 minutes, the new recruits from the other classes finally gathered together under the guidance of the squad leader. According to the regulations on internal affairs of the military, grassroots troops conduct morning exercises daily, mainly for Q training or physical fitness training, with each session lasting 30 minutes. For new recruits, morning exercises have become a specialized time for physical training. Attention everyone. The old black face of Mr. Bao collapsed again and said, "Let's warm up for 3 kilometers first." As one class started running, the other classes slowly followed suit. The military camp in the morning is not deserted. From time to time, a loud slogan would come from all over the playground. I spent the entire 30 minutes of morning exercise running, not very fast, but fortunately all the new recruits persisted. After morning exercises, Gong Jian didn't continue to lecture or anything, and directly asked each class to bring it back. After returning to the dormitory, Lao He gathered everyone together and picked up a blanket from the side. In the military, internal affairs organization is also an important part of regular training, and folding blankets is the most important part of internal affairs organization. Next, I'll give you a demonstration, you guys watch carefully. Chapter 009. Military Training. See Military Training again, new book for collection. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. After flattening the quilt, use both hands and arms to press and compact the quilt to remove any air inside. As Lao He flattened the blanket, he explained to everyone, after flattening the blanket, fold the opposite side inward from 1/3. After folding, be sure to reach into the crease and tighten the cotton here. After processing over there, use the same method to fold the quilt surface close to your side from 1/3, and also use your hands to tighten the cotton at the crease. Then hold your hands here, use your thumb and index finger to form a U-shaped pattern, and press out the stripes. The same goes for this side. Finally, let's handle the creases in the middle and fold them together. Remember, during the process of folding blankets, be sure to pay attention to your hand shape. When pinching the edges, use the second joint of your thumb and index finger, use the gap between your index and middle fingers for the big edge, use 3 fingers for the corners, hook your index finger inside the corner and lift it outward, use the first joint of your thumb and middle finger on both sides. Quickly, as Lao He's words fell, a square army bed appeared in front of everyone. Looking at the slight wrinkles on the quilt, Old He slightly sorted them out and then eliminated all of them. Square and square, with distinct diamond corners, flat and neat. A standard tofu quilt. Alright, let's go eat now and think carefully about how to fold the blankets. After dinner, bring your own blankets and mats and gather on the playground. After shouting a song called "Green Flowers in the Army," Jiang Chen and others followed Old He's request and brought blankets and mats to the playground. At this point, there were already many new recruits gathered on the playground, all of whom were squatting on the ground, fighting their wits against the blankets in front of them. "Zhao Hu, do you stack like a thing? Are you soft or not, like a woman? Li Xian, does your tofu look like this? Break down the overlap. Gao Pengfei, that's how I taught you before. Clear water chestnuts. Where's the horn? Did you eat it?" Attention everyone, this morning, our training subject is organizing internal affairs. After bringing a group to the assembly point, Lao He spoke up and said, "Don't underestimate the importance of internal affairs organization. Our internal affairs regulations have a specialized book, and like Q's, internal affairs are also a basic skill that Chinese soldiers must master. I won't say much more nonsense. First, put the blanket on the cool mat and how to stack the tofu chunks. I just demonstrated it to you. First, fold it yourself and let me see your level. Jiang Chen. Arrive. I'll go get a glass of water, you maintain good discipline. Yes. Lao He nodded and picked up his thermos, walking towards the cafeteria. Brothers, my grandfather has asked me to fold tofu since he was young. He thinks he has some experience. If you don't understand anything, you can ask me. As soon as Lao He left, He Chenguang laughed and shouted to everyone, while also giving Jiang Chen a special glance. I am not as strong as you in terms of physical fitness and Q, but I am definitely stronger than you in terms of making blankets. Morning light, then you need to help me later. I can lay bricks, but tofu chunks really don't work. And me, looking at that tofu block makes me feel a headache. Isn't it? This soft and collapsed blanket can't hold up at all. Cut, isn't it just stacking tofu chunks? I don't believe it's really that difficult. Wang Yanbing sneered and began to squat down to compete with the blanket. The others gathered around He Chenguang, watching him fold up the blanket. When folding here, you must find 1/3 of the way, otherwise. He Chenguang explained to everyone while operating. After adding water, Old Black slowly returned to the playground holding a thermos. This group of new recruits is stacking tofu cubes for the first time, and they definitely didn't stack it properly. We must take this opportunity to give them a good scolding. Especially that little rabbit named Jiang Chen. Thinking of this, Old Black instinctively looked towards the position where Jiang Chen was. At this glance, he was dumbfounded. This piece of tofu push and push. Lao He rushed to Jiang Chen like a rush. Jiang Chen, did you stack this yourself? Because he was too surprised, Lao He unconsciously raised his volume a few degrees. This voice not only caught the attention of the other classes, but also attracted Gong Jian from afar. Well, it was me who stacked it. Jiang Chen nodded in silence. Of course, I made my blanket, classmate. Is this really what you stacked? Not to mention being the deputy class monitor, doing anything is the most impressive. This tofu piece is much more standard than He Chenguang's. Isn't that right, classmate? Can you tell us quickly how to fold the quilt to such a standard? Watching the soldiers who were originally surrounded by him gather in front of Jiang Chen in an instant, He Chenguang instinctively clenched his fist. From childhood to adulthood, he has always been a child of someone else's family. But less than a day after arriving in the army, he encountered consecutive obstacles and became the background of Jiang Chen several times, which made him very unhappy. After the training, we must find a way to fight Jiang Chen. I want others to know who is the most powerful in the entire new recruits company. Jiang Chen, have you specifically trained in stacking troops before? Gong Jian stared at the tofu block in front of Jiang Chen for a few seconds before asking. Report to the instructor, yes. Jiang Chen replied. Oh, originally, it was specifically practiced. The monitor and new recruits of the other classes breathed a sigh of relief. When did you practice it? Gong Jian continued to ask. Report to the instructor, during military training. Military training. Everyone's faces turned strange. Especially Lao He. He suddenly remembered that it was just last night, on this training ground. Facing the same person, he has asked the same question before. Finally, the same answer was obtained. A sentence of military training kept him awake for a long time. He secretly glanced at Gong Jian. I don't know if the instructor can still fall asleep tonight. Are you sure you have only studied during military training? Gong Jian's face was full of disbelief. The main thing is that the tofu pieces stacked by Jiang Chen are really too standard and perfect. I'm afraid no one in the entire Iron Fist team can stack better than him. So, he couldn't believe it. How could it be possible to stack such a standard tofu block just through the few days of military training? Sure. Jiang Chen's tone was very firm. Before entering the military camp, he only learned how to stack tofu cubes during military training. There's nothing wrong with that statement. Staring at Jiang Chen for a while, then at the folded military blanket in front of him, Gong Jian finally spoke up, so, you can open the blanket and fold it again. Yes. Hey, it seems that we need to keep a low profile in the future. Otherwise, others just need to stack it once, and you still have to dismantle the overlap yourself. Isn't this a way of finding guilt for yourself?